Memorable moments on this tour for you guys.
Wow. Memorable moments. Well, for you guys, it might have been when you walked in and saw me shaving.
It
Not to bring that up
it
again.
was.
Jesus Christ. Let's see. Well, a memorable moment was when we were pulling into Seattle after having, we played Salt Lake City, which is, in the middle of the Rockies there.
Mm-hmm.
Then our next show was Seattle. We had a day off. So we drove through Boise, and then, we stayed there. And then we're driving through the mountains again to get to Seattle. And on the way there, we find out our next two shows are canceled. So, so that was kind of a bummer. And because the same promoter was doing Seattle and Portland. And so we didn't really have time to do anything about the Seattle one, but we scrambled together a show for Portland and played like a smaller club.
Oh, wow.
And just like kind of put it together ourselves. Like with the guy that was tour managing the Casualties works there, I think, at the place called the Satyricon.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, oh yeah, I'll give you the contact information or whatever. And so we called ahead and we're like, you guys wouldn't want to have a show, would you? Because they were normally closed that night, I think. And so they opened up and we put on a show. It was like a 300 had like 300 people or whatever, and it was packed. And
What? Oh, that's,
so it was awesome.
That's great. And I'm sure the fans appreciate the fact that they had.
Well, exactly,
a
because
place to,
otherwise they would have got boned too. And
yeah.
so now Seattle, I'm sure, hates us. Because, of course, it's the band's fault every time,
Oh,
right? When
of
it's
course.
never our fault. And none of this stuff is ever our fault. But
Mhm.
then you always get blamed. Like, oh, I guess they didn't want to play Seattle or something.
Right.
These guys needed 2 days off. It's not like we all wanted to play the show,
Any family members here tonight? I know a lot of times family and friends because you're so close to
Yeah, well,
Gainesville.
we're in Florida. Sometimes that happens. Chris's parents are coming out tonight. I know
Oh,
that
nice.
for a fact. And they like to let loose a little bit when they come to the show. I'm not going to lie to you.
I met his
Annoyingly
dad.
enough,
I know how his dad is.
Chris's dad, too, has a penchant for cigar smoking these days, like even more so than in the olden days. And
Oh, wow.
he always has he's like Fidel Castro. He has the biggest cigar I've ever seen in my life. It'll be sticking out to here. And I've told him, don't smoke that on the side of the stage. And I'm like, what's that? I'm like, it's like green cloud of smoke coming. And I'm like breathing in as much as I can and then breathing all my air out. And I'm like, choking on it. And I look over to the side of the stage and his dad's over there like, it's ridiculous. Like, I told you, no cigar.
His dad is hilarious
Yeah,
too. I mean,
those two are pretty much alike.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Because that's
silly.
where he gets his
And Chris
humor.
has a brother too, which is just in the same vein.
Oh,
The
yeah.
three of them together is just unheard of. Oh God, his brother came. It was their friend Mark Cruz's bachelor party, and he showed up. Nobody had seen him in a while because he was living in North Carolina, and he came down. He had grown his hair out, so it was kind of like his dad's like pompadour thing, and he grew a mustache out. And I couldn't even look at him because he looked just like his dad. I was losing my mind.
It's like mini dad.
Yeah, it was like young version of Chris's dad. I was like, you have to shave that mustache. You can't go out like that tonight, or I won't be able to hang out with you at all. It was uncomfortable.
Yeah, I get- well,
Because his dad was there too that night,
so
which was
yeah,
really
right next-
awkward.
yeah. Oh man.
This is your life.
Yeah. Hey, wonder what you're gonna look like right there. There you
Yeah,
go.
there it is.
I saw something about a Jones soda, like a Less Than Jake root
Mhm.
beer. How did that whole thing come about?
Well, they were a sponsor on the Warped Tour. I don't know if they were on there. I don't think they were this year, but they were.
2 years ago, maybe?
Yeah, well, when we were on there in 2006.
Oh, okay.
So I know that there's like some sort of hookup through that. Like we
Mhm.
knew them through there, and then I don't know. It was just one of those things where you reach out to people and they were like, "Oh yeah, you want a soda flavor?" Because they were doing like this promotional thing with other bands too. And
Right,
Stuff.
Gaslight.
So we got ours. You just got to pick a flavor, and so we kind of all agreed. Everyone kind of picked like 2 or 3 flavors, and root beer seemed to be the one that we all kind of picked together.
How was it? Like, did you taste it?
Yes, I did. I actually got a 6-pack of my own, of my very own, and
Nice.
and first I was just gonna save the one, then I was like, well, all I really need to save is the bottle. I should just drink them, right? So I put them in my fridge and drank them. I think I still have one left in my fridge.
Nice.
But yeah, tastes like root beer.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong. Like, I mean, there are different varieties of root beer, though.
Yeah.
There's the upper echelon.
Are they still available, or is it one of those?
I'm not sure if that was a limited thing or not. To be honest with you, look at how much I know about our own band.
I can always
I don't know if that was like a limited run or if it's something that you can still get, or like it was a for all perpetuity.
Mhm.
I'm really not sure. You can go look for it though.
I will. Check
Maybe if
it
you go to jonessoda.com and see if they have them, maybe you can back
Search
order them.
Less Than Jake.
Because they didn't sell. It was only available for a month, but nobody bought any.
Oh, no.
They bought all the Bouncing Soul stuff instead, or the AFI lime flavored ones. Maybe nobody likes root beer, especially that dirty Less Than Jake root beer.
Oh, no.
Probably worried Chris put his finger in every bottle or something. 1, 2, yeah. A little bit of Less Than Jake in each bottle. Ooh, don't buy that. Put it back on the shelf, quick.
It's like, what is? Now, what about new album? I know that the current album came out June of '08. So, you guys already working on new material, or what's the new?
Well, that's the
update?
plan. Well, we should have been working on new materials because we got done with the Warped Tour and we were home for a couple months.
Mhm.
You need, after the amount of touring we did this year already, you kind of need a good amount of time away from each other, which we thought might be about a month. And then like October kind of rolled around. We're like, now we're doing this tour coming up. Let's just chill out. So we didn't write anything yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure people all have stuff,
Some ideas probably.
yeah.
In the head, yeah.
that need to be dusted off. But when we get back from this tour, that's the plan. Is we're gonna do some writing. We're definitely staying off the road for a while. That's for sure.